Republican governor just can't seem to figure out why members of the LGBTQ community in her state are depressed.
There is a statistic circulating around right now that 90% of South Dakota's LGBTQ community is diagnosed with either anxiety or depression. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. That makes me sad, and we should figure it out.
Best part about that, the awkward silence. Like, oh, it makes me sad. We should figure it out. No self-awareness whatsoever. No self-awareness. So now, let's get to the details first, all right? Now, the data comes from a recent report by Help Advisor, a health and healthcare coverage assistance site that analyzed rates of anxiety and depression among LGBTQ plus people across the United States. There is no surprise that 87% of South Dakota LGBTQ residents have some health conditions, feel anxious and or depressed. Now, of course, that's higher than the national average, which is about 63%. Look, to be fair, if I lived in South Dakota, I would probably also be depressed, and I'm not part of the LGBTQ community just because I would be living in South Dakota. But all right, now the answer, of course, is pretty simple. Why is it so high? Because of people like Kristi Noem. It has a lot to do with conservatives, politicians signing anti-trans, anti-gay legislation, which again encourages hate and discrimination against those groups. So, I don't know. It might have something to do with it. And let me give you an example of such legislation. Kristi Noem actually last month just signed a bill that requires anyone playing on a female sports team to have been assigned a female at birth. So, trans people can't do it. Sorry, you can't join in the team. Oh. I can't seem to figure out why the people that I'm banning based on an activity or, from an activity based on a complete misunderstanding of how male to female transition works, and seemingly for no other reason other than, of course, to join into the culture wars so that I can win re-election. I don't know why the people affected by that would be depressed. I just don't understand. I don't get it. Weird. And here's the thing. It's not like there's some so-called scourge of transgender women coming into female sports, and dominating. No, that's not what's happening. This is a solution in search of a problem, and it's not even the right kind of solution. It's not a solution at all. What it does is that it creates more problems. It makes it so that members of the transgender community, by the way, transgender women are women, end up being discriminated against. That's the whole point. That's the whole purpose. It should be very, very obvious why that would make someone from those communities a little anxious and a little depressed to live in a state where, you have politicians, you have the government, and a lot of people that literally fucking hate you just for what you are. Weird. Can't figure it out, though. Just can't figure it out. No, it's worse, right? So now to go along with this, you had a poll from the Trevor Project that found that more than 60% of the LGBTQ youth say that their mental health has deteriorated as a result of recent anti-trans legislation, including the bills related to sports. Once again, can't seem to figure out why. Banning transgender girls from being able to compete in sports. By the way, sports, great team building exercises, very, very social, helps people stay out of trouble, fosters camaraderie and teamwork. I wonder why banning them arbitrarily makes them more depressed, or could make them more depressed and feel left out. Can't figure it out. Now, South Dakota is the 10th state to enact the law affecting transgender athletes, and the first to do so in 2022. By the way, Noem was also an opponent of same-sex marriage, so this isn't just about trans people. And in 2021, she signed a bill that lets business deny goods and services to LGBTQ plus people on the basis of their religious beliefs. So the so-called religious freedom bills. Freedom. You know what freedom means? Freedom means being able to tell people I don't like to fuck off. Yeah, that's right. I'm not gonna give them services. Oh, why are people calling me a transphobe? Why is he? Is this cancel culture? No, bitch. You cancel. And here's the thing, right? Every conservative that complains about cancel culture, what do you think you're doing to transgender people? What do you think you're doing to the LGBTQ plus community? You are canceling them. That's what you're doing. You're saying, I don't want you here. I don't agree. I don't agree. Not just the fact that like, oh, I don't like your life choices and I don't agree with same-sex marriage or being a transgender or whatever. No, you're telling them that I don't agree with you being alive. I would rather you not be here. I would rather you be dead. That's literally what they are telling you. And so, gee, I wonder why, once again, why they would be so goddamn depressed. But gee golly, she says, oh, you know, it makes me so sad. We should just look into it. We should just look into it. You have no intention of looking into this. You have no intention because, for one, you already know the answer. And by the way, you know what any so-called results she would come up with would be? Oh, you know, we looked into it and we found out that I guess, you know, the answer is they should just stop being gay or trans. And find Jesus. That's our answer. That's our answer. Everybody knows that this doesn't work like that. This is fake concern from a obviously incredibly bigoted Republican governor that is doing real harm to a marginalized community in her state.